Hi, I'm Pam, and I'm here to talk about video games. Today, Lily and I are here to talk about the very best dogs in video games. We also have a special guest, Gemma from the Gebs24, will be joining us to talk about her favorite canine companion. Be sure to check out her channel once you're done here. Just as dogs are man's best friend in real life, they can also be friends in games. Some help you in combat, others find items for you, or just provide a source of comfort and companionship. Though they can also be a source of stress, as in many games I find myself anxiously worrying, is something going to happen to my dog? Here are the dogs that I most enjoyed having with me in games, the ones that truly captured the essence of just how great dogs can be. There will be some spoilers specifically related to the dogs in these games, so be sure to check the chapter titles if you want to skip a section. Let's start out with Hades, a beautiful dungeon-crawling roguelike where you play Zagreus, son of Hades. He's decided that he's had enough of the underworld and his stuffy dad and is going to make an escape. This journey involves a lot of failure. Cerberus is the three-headed hound of hell and is a frequent presence whenever you die and respawn back at home. You can offer him treats, buy him a comfier bed or new toys to play with, and give him pets, but only on one of his heads. The other two don't like that. The longer you play, the more you get attached to this magnificent beast and appreciate the chance to say hello after each death. And you know that Cerberus loves you as well, as the first time you left, he got upset and destroyed the lounge. When I made my way into the Temple of Styx for the first time, I was elated to have finally shut up that jerk Theseus in Elysium. But then, my heart dropped. In front of the exit door, there stood Cerberus. Cerberus is technically Hades' dog, and it's his job to stop the dead from escaping the underworld, and now to stop. I braced myself, dreading that I was going to have to fight my many-headed pal. But regardless of how many heads he has, how imposing he is, how obedient, he is still a dog. And dogs love treats. I can't even describe the sense of relief I had when you learn that you can trade some satyr snacks for passage out of here and no showdown needs to happen. Cerberus is a great example of the wonderfully quirky personalities a dog can have, the calm companionship, the attachment to their people, and of course, their love of food. I'm convinced Cerberus is part lab. Rule of Rose is a survival horror game from the PS2 that is equal parts compelling and disturbing. You play Jennifer, an orphan girl who has found herself on a mysterious airship, which is currently being run by a bunch of mean girls. The gameplay is fairly typical of this genre in this time frame, and involves exploring your surroundings, solving puzzles, and engaging in some rather terrible combat. But what makes things a bit different is Jennifer's dog, Brown. Brown helps you out by finding items for you. This can be both optional things like health restores, or items that are relevant to the story and completing the game. If you show Brown a key item, he'll lead you on to the next place you need to go to progress the story. He'll also help out in combat. Though he won't fight, he can distract enemies. Brown's inclusion in the game is bittersweet. He's immensely important to the story. As you play, you reveal Jennifer's lost memories and her history with this dog, whom she found as a puppy and was one source of happiness as she grew up in the orphanage. Brown is a source of comfort and direction as you travel through this confusing world. However, animals don't generally fare too well in the horror genre, so having Brown there made for a constant feeling of dread as I hoped that nothing bad would happen to him. Sadly, Brown does not make it out of this one, making for one of the most upsetting parts of an already upsetting game. I'm just going to block the death part out of my mind and think about how important he was to Jennifer and she to him. In a way, they saved each other in a time when they were both alone. This good boy shows how much love a dog can give. Now let's go over to Gemma to talk about her favorite dog in a video game.
A dog that I love in a video game. Okay, I'm going to answer this from two perspectives. My first one is I'm going to go with Chorizo in Far Cry 6 because he's so darn cute, and every time I bump into him in my expedition in Far Cry 6, I just melt. He seems so happy. He's got his little wheels. He's obviously got a little injury to his back. Oh, and it just melts me. Honestly, I think he's so darn cute. But I think that's a bit of a cop-out for answering this question because it's such a recent game. So I'm going to rewind many years, and I'm going to tell you about a game called Family Dog on the Super Nintendo. I used to rent that game from Blockbuster Video. How much do you miss that Blockbuster? And Family Dog was about a little dog that used to go through the different rooms in a house, dodging obstacles and just causing an absolute ruckus. I never really knew what to do in the game. There was never much navigation, but I remember thinking, this is a cute dog. And we have a video game based entirely on a dog on my favourite console, the Super Nintendo. So Family Dog on the Super Nintendo, go and check it out. I fell in love with that absolute fluff ball in that game.
Cloudpunk is a neon-soaked adventure through a cyberpunk metropolis. You play Rania. It's your first night working for the Cloudpunk delivery service, and along the way, you'll meet surprising characters, discover conspiracies, and have to make some difficult choices. There to help you out, and sort of act as your conscience, is your dog Camus. He also serves as your GPS. So, Camus is an automata that has the consciousness of a dog. He used to actually look like one, but Rania had to sell his physical body to pay some debts when she moved to the city. So now, he's loaded into her vehicle and directs her to her various jobs. As you drive around the city, conversations with Camus will serve as a way to tell the player Rania's backstory and current predicament. Camus is constantly questioning your actions and why the world is the way it is. Speaking to him will help bring clarity, or at least some food for thought about the morality of the decisions that are being presented to you. He is a very good boy who just wants everyone to be happy and doesn't understand why people treat each other poorly. You'll also help him sort out his feelings about having a dog mind in a car body. And one of your goals is to make enough money to give him back his canine shell. Camus is a wonderful companion, a great listener, and he tries to keep you honest. What more could you want? Being able to give him the body he was meant to have and let him run free is one of the greatest joys of this game. Signs of the Sojourner is a game with a very interesting take on deck building, where a card game represents a conversation. You need to match up shapes in order to successfully communicate. While in your hometown, everyone talks in circles and triangles. But as you venture out to new places and talk to new people, other shapes get incorporated into your vocabulary. This means that when you go back home, you and old friends might not understand each other like you used to. And that's where Thunder the dog comes in. He's a stray who you find in the middle of the road who decides he's coming with you. A game starts, but rather than the usual symbols, Thunder's cards all have rainbow-colored paw prints on them. No matter what card you play, the interaction succeeds. Because Thunder doesn't need you to say the right words or have the right knowledge, he offers unconditional love and understanding. And the increasingly happy look on his face as the round goes on is just adorable. As you travel around in the game, you'll get fatigued. This manifests as actual cards that take the place of others in your deck and act as blockers to successful interactions. But anytime you spend time with Thunder, some of these fatigue cards get removed, so you can keep going a little longer. This is such a beautiful representation of our furry friends and how being around them can bring calm, relieve stress, and replenish us. I think this is actually my favorite of all these examples. Not only is Thunder a very good dog, but how the developers designed him to play off and enhance the mechanics of the game is truly exceptional. So those are my favorite dogs from video games. I like ones that are not only cute, but also really enhance the game, whether in terms of mechanics or emotional impact. Leave me a comment and let me know who your favorite dogs in video games are, and don't forget to go check out Gemma's channel, especially if you're into retro games and collecting. Her dog also sometimes makes an appearance. Are we done? Are we done the video? Are you a good girl? Who's your favorite video game dog, Boo Boo? Here you go. Yeah. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Okay, you can go. You can go now. You can go lay down. You did good. If you want to see more, check out one of my other videos, and don't forget to pay Gemma a visit. I have a Patreon if you want to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.